All right, my friends, welcome to episode number 229 of Prof and Dev Play Games. My name is Larry. I am a professor down in California at Prof Plays Games on Twitter, and over there's Anthony at SummerSpeak on Twitter. He is a game developer. What's your title now? Game
designer. Yeah. Just straight up designer.
So he's up there in the Pacific Northwest hanging out. How's it going?
Going well. Just another kind of chill weekend, which was needed. But yeah, didn't have to do anything crazy. So
always a good weekend when you don't have to do shit that's crazy.
My son had his first sleepover with another person. Nice. It was a friend's birthday, and so that was odd to have a kid just completely out of the house. Yeah. You're like, this is weird. And
how did he do it?
Oh, he did great. He had a blast. And he stayed up way too late and was very tired when he got home, and is now, I think, passed out already. So, because he was falling asleep on the couch at like 5.
Oh, yeah. Hope he sleeps through the night instead of waking up super early.
Even if he does, he doesn't get us up. So,
yeah,
he's old enough not to be past that point where it's like, if you're awake, that's cool. Like, turn on the light, go out in the living room, turn on the light and read a book or do something quiet, whatever. Like,
leave us the fuck alone.
Pretty much. Other people are sleeping. It's cool. Like,
oh man.
Eventually you'll get there. Eventually.
I cannot wait. Although the red, green clock is amazing. It just has solved 99% of our problems.
That's cool.
Yep. She waits until it's red, or waits until it's green, and then starts crying. So.
Well, alright.
We've got the time up to 5:45.
Well, there you go.
It's pretty reliable now. It's really cool, even though she wakes up like at 5.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this episode, we're going to dive into you. We're going to talk about, in general, or as specific as you want to get, like what the onboarding process is for like a new employee at a game company. Like you've come into your company in the last couple of weeks as a game designer, and there's been an onboarding process, obviously. And I think it'd be cool to kind of like unpack that, what that looks like, you know, kind of pre going in and day to day, like that first week maybe, and then kind of where you're at now.
Yeah.
You can obviously, you know, this company or companies in the past. But I think it'd be kind of cool to kind of go through that, because not all of us get to do that. In fact, only you on this podcast have done it.
I've done it a couple times. Not as much as a number of people I know in the industry. It's odd that I stayed at a company for almost 10 years.
It's like you're the anomaly. You're the unicorn.
I am such the anomaly. Most people stay at a company 2 to 3 years tops. Mm-hmm. But that's just because that's the only way they can get promoted. Because
by leaving.
Leaving, going someplace else, that's the best way to get more money, get a different title, whatnot, is to jump ship to another place. Because we could talk about how poorly, in general, game companies are. And honestly, this kind of falls into tech, too, of having good career management going on. So, oh god, oops.
They just kind of lock you into your silo, and then you just stay there.
Stay there, and it's hard to break out of it, and really find someone that will give that kind of career mentorship to move up. So, yeah, my anomaly is I did it at only a few companies in my career, where people with my experience, there's a number of them that have probably been through half dozen to 10 companies by this point.
Yeah.
Either from moving or because moving up or wanting different positions and titles, or the studio's shutting down, or shipping a big title and then the company's purging extra people.
Right.
So I definitely feel like I've been very lucky in my trajectory in this industry. So anyone can also take that with a grain of salt on what I'm saying about onboarding, because I'm sure everyone in this industry has a little bit of a different experience.
Yeah, that's true.
But I will speak to my experience. So what do you want to know?
So let's talk about the recent move. I'm thinking like the week before you went there, like what you do to prepare for moving to a new place, other than like getting as much sleep as possible before you move into a new schedule.
Well, let's see. So I did my first week before Christmas. This studio, Systemera, I'll say, they shut down basically from Christmas Eve to through New Year, New Year's Day. Mm-hmm. So, but I made sure I wanted to start before that. So I mean, after accepting the position, there was a lot of talk of like when to start, so pre me starting there, they needed to make sure they had a desk and a computer for me.
That was a question, huh?
And could they actually get a computer for me in time for me to start before Christmas?
They didn't have an extra laying around somewhere?
That's the thing. They're like, and the thing is they did. They just scrounged up an extra one.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And put that there with me getting my actual computer when I got back from the break.
Oh, okay.
Which I have now. So yes, that was the first thing of like one onboarding. When my starting date would be was not based around like it was kind of when's best for everyone to have person starting, but also when they would just physically have the things necessary for me to do my job available. So
the onboarding process is getting you a computer.
That was the first part. While I wasn't there, was making sure that they would get like talking and making sure they'd have the stuff I would need.
Right.
Pre that, there was a bunch of stuff on my. So the system era, they use a freelance HR person. She does work for a number of like 5 or 6 different clients. Because they're not big enough to need a full HR department or even a full HR person. Mm-hmm. So she got in touch with me and sent me all the forms I needed to fill out, did all that normal new employee paperwork. She got all that to me before my first day, so I could fill it out all digitally, have it all there, and just print it out, do physical signing with her there on my first day. But so that was pre-day one. Was reached out like that. The office admin reached out to me, checking if I needed parking spot, bus pass, different things like that. So, I mean, for this thing, system art was pretty, I would say, at least had the checklist down of things they needed to do for a new person starting. Right. And then it was like, hey, I did get the thing of like arrive on your first day at this time, which was like 10. It was later in the day. I didn't have to be there at like super early because no one would be there. They're like, everyone will be there by 10. Come in.
It's not because they had morning meetings or whatever. It's just that they weren't all going to be there.
Nope. Because most people roll in between 9 and 11. Okay. It's quite a range. There's now a few of us that get there at like 8. There's like 4 of us usually in the office. Yeah, and we all leave quite a bit earlier.
Yeah. Is there any, the whole conversation about crunch and about people staying, and it's voluntary to stay there too, but they feel like compelled because of societal pressures or, group pressure or whatever. But you guys don't feel that leaving early? Because you're not leaving early, I guess. But
not really.
Yeah.
We can get into that later about this company, but I definitely don't feel that here.
Okay, cool.
There's, from the most senior people down, people take the time they need and take off when they need to take off. And no one seems to look down on it. So, especially whenever you see everyone doing it from all experience levels and all levels of the company, seniority-wise.
Right, so, that would help to see the high-level people doing the same thing.
Yeah, totally, and they do. Like, they're just like, there are days also where, like, they're a company that's like, if you need a mental health day, it's okay to take one. Like, they're not going to punish you for it. And you don't. Like, they have a channel in their Slack that's like, hey, just let people know where you are. Because that is also a huge thing at the company. They want to know, if you're not going to be there or going to be late, just let people know. Right. As a thing, we're all what was one of the founders' things said to me during my interview? We're all adults here. You know what you have to do and who you have responsibilities to. Make sure everybody's cool and on the same page.
Right.
Just be an adult and communicate, and everything should be fine. And everyone's an adult and communicates. So, they had me start at 10 when, my boss would be there and, the HR person would be there. So I got in, my boss met me, who I had met in the interview and everything, and we talked and stuff, and then the HR person got me, generally did some basic paperwork, did all the stuff that just has to be done. What else did she do? We did that, and then she walked me through a slide presentation about the company that she had been putting together for new employees that just was like, hey, this is the place, this is kind of the history. If you don't know it, I already knew it. I had looked before interviewing, I knew this company, and I looked them up, and I knew information on them.
Right.
And they have a no-clip documentary, so it was pretty easy to have a lot of information on this company, and I knew people that work there. So, but she walked me through it, like kind of doing her talk on what the company is, what its values, what your benefits are, how you go about accessing different parts of the benefits. You know, normal onboarding stuff that took like maybe an hour for me to go through that. Met up with my boss.
This is the freelance HR person, right?
Freelance HR.
So is this person doing it not at System Era? They're doing it somewhere else? You're going to a different
No,
area,
they're there. They come in there one day a week.
Okay.
And they're always there on they're always there on Thursdays. But they'll also be there on people's start dates.
I see. Got it.
And so, yeah, just to go through that, and that was, finished that, and then met with my boss again, and, you know, here's where you're going to be sitting in your computer, and, here's how to log into this piece and that piece, and just a whole slew of technology that you need to learn in an all new place, like, oh, here's our Slack, here's your invitation to our Slack so you can talk to people in the company, here's Confluence, here's Jira, all these different things. Every company uses different technologies for tracking bugs and knowledge and the whole thing, but just getting through all the login steps for that, getting me all set up from a technical standpoint, done, took me till about lunch. And then we went and had lunch with my boss and the other designers. We went and had lunch. And kind of like, hi, I'd met my boss and one of the designers. The other designer weirdly hadn't started when I was interviewing. He had started like a week after I had accepted my job. So we never, there were two designers being hired, me and this other guy.
And you're at an equal level kind of thing?
Yeah. And we had never talked. So
they didn't know how you guys would interplay.
Yeah.
At all. Okay.
It's worked out fine. So yeah, had lunch with the other designers and then came back from, it was a longer lunch, talking over things, came back from that. My boss gave me at least a list of things of like, okay, your tech is set up. Here is some basic Slack channels you should join and read and stay up to date on. Here's some Confluence pages, documentation you can read about like kind of where the current state of the game's at. And here's a couple things I'd like you to like read with an eye for something you might be able to be working on when we get back from the holidays. And then it
to
was
kind of place yourself in their workflow a little bit, or
yeah, basically to get me into it. Don't let me just spin around not knowing what to do. At least give me a target of something to do. Of being like, look on this stuff, focus on this, work on these problems, kind of. And then that was effectively it. By the end of that first day, that was the end of my onboarding, and now being like, okay, beyond looking at these things, really, there is a crap ton of documentation in this Confluence. Read it.
Right, like get familiar with everything that we're doing.
Get familiar there, talk to the people who are in the office. Just try to say hi to different people, go to lunch with different people. Like, it's a 30-person company now, total,
right.
And that's what it's going to be for quite a while. And so it's like, it's just big enough to be a little bit intimidating, but still small enough where like you will know everyone by first name.
And were you an employee like 28, 29?
28, I believe. Yeah. I'm the 28th employee. There have been people that have left over the years, so.
Right. So you're really like 38 or 40.
Yeah, who knows where I fall in there anymore. So it's been that's kind of the onboarding, because it was then very hands-off of being like, okay, most days I would at least meet with my boss on that first week, and he'd be like, ask me what I've looked at, some other stuff he might have had for me to look at, or like, oh, look at this more specifically, or answer questions, tell me about, talk to this person or that person about questions about this, and I could go do that.
Right. Do you
feel it's an open floor plan, so it's not like
okay.
I don't see everybody. Like, there is 0 offices.
Is it just a bunch of cubicles then?
It's not even cubicles.
Desks, basically?
They're desks on wheels that are just next to each other.
Does that feel distracting when
Nope,
it's not?
because it's really quiet. Like, it's a shockingly quiet office.
Like everyone's head down working.
Yeah, and people just put on headphones and do their work, and are pretty respectable about volume. So, I think then there's a bunch of conference rooms around the edges. So, people have places to go to do all their meetings and phone calls if they need the privacy. So,
right.
I know, open office plans are kind of a mixed bag to people, so...
Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering.
Here, I mean, it's more open than I've experienced, but PodCap was also open. Mm-hmm. Open floor plan for the most part. Some people had offices, but there was not that many. Right. But the cubicles at PodCap were much more divided.
Yeah, that's what I remember. That's what I was wondering. Because you don't have those things popping up.
Nope.
It's just a straight desk. Yeah.
Desk to desk. I mean, the monitors are basically a wall. Because monitors, they have huge monitors at this place. We're talking like 27 to 30-inch monitors.
Shit.
And I have 2 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, I'm sitting in my chair. I can't see over my monitors. And they're all sitting desks.
Oh, nice.
So some people will be standing up, some people down, switching throughout the day. Like, it works out really well for an open plan in the fact that the team is small enough, and they all seem very respectful of it being open. Because I was kind of worried about that when I first came in there, of being like, oh, is this going to be loud? No, not really.
If it's loud, can you just like kick up the brakes on your desk and just roll it away? I guess you're plugged into shit, so maybe not.
Yeah, no. But no one's louder than having headphones on. That tunes everything out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was most of that was the most onboarding, was that, and then was like, all right, talk to people, follow these guides and in Confluence on like how to experiment creating content for the game.
What about social wise, like networking outside of work? Like, is there any sort of like weekly get together, or has
nope?
Just come and do the work.
I mean, I guess the thing is the socializing piece is lunch. A lot of people don't go out for lunch. They either go get lunch and come back, and everyone sits in the kitchen. It's pretty consistently that like a good dozen or more people always, of rotating people, just sit down at the table in the kitchen away from their desks and just talk.
Yeah.
And that's very much like the social time at the company. And then people don't stick around doing stuff at the office after hours. Like, it seems like, no, we're here to work. We socialize during work time at lunch and at those points. And when you're done with work, you go. It's cool.
See ya. Like a normal job.
Yeah, normal job. To also facilitate things, I don't know if I sent it to you. Not this past Friday, but a week before that, we did a company curling outing.
Like the sport?
Yep, I curled. Because Seattle has a curling facility.
Well, okay, I guess that's kind of what I mean, like those little events where it's like team building or whatever.
Yeah, we totally did that. It was and they do one a month.
Are you on skates for curling?
No.
No, okay.
They're like these special grippy... Well, we use these like special things that we put over, silicone things we put over our boots that made us basically just kind of like you can walk on the ice. But it's smooth. It's not like they're sticking into the ice. There's no...
Oh, I wore those every day in Ukraine. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was like, why the hell don't I have these things?
They had like
these are so good.
And then you wound like metal around them basically. They're like metal rings, and they just grip the ice. Like I could run and dance on the ice. These
don't have the metal rings because they don't want they don't want to damage the lanes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But there's the silicone things, which was enough where you could just... They're like, don't run on the ice, but you can walk. And you weren't going to slide or anything. So that was our company outing. That was go and curl for the day. And then next week on Wednesday, I think from 2 to the end of the day, is a Theo Chocolate Factory tour, which is a chocolate company up here in Seattle, actually next door to our office. So our office smells like chocolate sometimes.
Oh my god, that's great.
But we're going, the company's doing an outing to get an official tour of the chocolate factory.
That's really cool.
So, I mean, they do... I learned about that one after starting. It's like, this is a thing that they do every month. That there's planned activities for people to go to. And then, of course, they do a normal summer picnic and a holiday party, which I started after past year's holiday party, so I didn't get to experience that.
Get to look forward to it the rest of the year.
Yeah. So normal stuff there. And yeah, honestly, this is where I think my experiences with onboarding is different. Is like this one felt at least somewhat structured.
Mm-hmm.
None of my other ones were structured at all. Ever.
Which is like, here's your desk, good luck.
Yeah, it's just like talk to your boss; they'll figure it out.
Oh man,
just go. Like
not a lot of forethought.
PopCap did. I mean, but I was like the 22nd employee at PopCap.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have really an HR-ish department thing like that at all. Like it was like, here's your paperwork you need to sign, do all that. Well, your boss will guide you through what needs to be done. Enjoy. Figure it out.
Thanks.
And then my contract places were totally like that. Because I was a contractor.
Oh, so, yeah. It was like, here's our system, just figure it out.
Yeah, here's your system. If you need a machine, here's your machine. The other one was, we're 5 people in an office for a space tyrant. Enjoy. Talk to them. You'll figure out what you need to do and how this works. So yeah, my experience of onboarding there was a lot less than System Era actually knowing, at least having some way through it. And then like wanting you to also, I think I went and had a lunch with one of the founders the next day as well.
And what does that lunch entail? Like not food wise, but I mean like conversation wise.
Just kind of where the company's at. What's basically in his mind coming up for the next year, and just talking about that, and but beyond that also like there's work talk, and then there's just personal talk of like getting to know each other somewhat, and especially getting to know each other's game sense. Like what kind of games do each of us like? What are we playing? What do we like?
So you spent the whole lunch talking about Mass Effect 2? God.
Exactly. Spent a lot of time talking about Breath of the Wild. I've talked a lot about Breath of the Wild recently.
Yeah, that's exciting.
It is exciting. Because one of the designers has just picked it up for the first time. He just got a Switch, and so he got Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
of course.
They're both amazing games, man.
Yeah,
but man, I couldn't imagine whatever. There are games that I haven't played yet, but like walking into 2020 and not having played Breath of the Wild yet, it's like wow.
Yeah,
that game.
And I gave him the caveat of like I've known people that aren't as in love with Breath of the Wild as I was. They're wrong, but
Brad's screaming at this podcast right now.
Probably. It's okay to have a bad opinion every once in a while. Being the minority of the opinion there. But no, there's just been a lot of talk of that game and the other designer that's been there a very long time. We spent a lot of time talking about that game, and just getting lost in that game and how much it brought kind of the feelings of Link to the Past, how we felt as a kid playing Link to the Past, how Breath of the Wild felt like that as an adult.
Right.
Which is so few and far between to find games that do that. So yeah, we just gushed about that, and then co-founders talking about
design sensibilities like work their way into Astroneer, or I mean I haven't played it, so maybe they're already there, but is that kind of what
the exploration about? There's a lot of exploration on Astroneer, like the key. So Astroneer some people look at it and they're like, oh, it's just like a space survival game. It's not really a survival game. Like the survival elements are very, very light. It's much more about a crafting and discovery and exploration game, more than just survive. Like it's easy to survive once you know what you're doing. It's like, oh, we're not going to punish you or make things just kill you. It's not pretty much the opposite of No Man's Sky in a lot of ways in that front.
Yeah, because that's what I kind of have thought about it as, like a cute looking No Man's Sky.
And it is, but there's like nothing hostile in it. I mean, there's plants that will blow up and hurt you a little bit, but it's pretty hard to die from those. And if you run out of oxygen, you die, but that's really only if you do something stupid will you run out of oxygen.
Sounds like real life.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's not meant to be a punishing game. Survival is not one of the key tenets of that game. Exploration is a key tenet of that game. which kind of fits with Breath of the Wild and kind of the love of that in the office. Because, to be honest, Breath of the Wild is about exploration more than anything. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. My friend in Colombia that I used to do Spanish conversation with, I saw him post something on Instagram with a Breath of the Wild shirt, and I started talking about it, and he's like, yeah, I haven't even beat it yet, just exploring, playing, just love it.
Yep.
Like, yep, mm-hmm. I remember that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's most of my onboarding was just that, and just talking to people, going to lunches for that first week, then being off for a week and a half, coming back, having a new machine, so setting up said new machine. Because, I mean, it's kind of set up for me, like basic stuff is, but then there's still a bunch of other stuff I need to do to get it ready for myself. Getting that all set up, and then that's really when it was like, okay, now sit down. We are going to have some pretty deep dives on what the next year of Astroneer is going to look like, and how that involves me, and what I'll be doing, and what I need to be focused on.
They sit you down and like go through painstaking detail about what the next year of Astroneer is going to be, and then they tell you, and you're on something else.
Yeah, exactly. No. Nope. And it's not painstaking detail. It was some pretty high level. Like, part of my job is to flesh out what these things mean.
Right.
Take it from the high level and actually get it to something that can be, one, designed, prototyped, ideally that prototype, and I build the prototype pieces of this design that I've come up with, then feed into a basically green light if everyone's on board. Then art and tech actually take the prototype, throw it away, and make the thing actually work in the game the right way. Mm-hmm. And I move on to the next thing. So it's very much more a traditional design of like the things that are coming out that I'll have my hands on is stuff that I've handed off months ago, and I'll already be working on other things. So
it's pretty cool to see it like come to fruition way later down the line.
Yeah, and with people way smarter than me that can make it work.
Yeah, man, I want that.
Because my prototypes, I mean, it's been a hard transition for me to be like that level of getting my mind into a place where I can be like, oh, I don't have to do the final implementation of this. Like coming up with a design or a way it's working and be like, shit, how would I do this so it's performant or can work across networking and multiplayer? And I'm like, wait, I don't have to solve that.
Oh man, that's rad. I mean, you're still coding and stuff, right?
Yeah, I am coding, and I'm doing my prototypes to show off my designs and trying to keep vision of what I have, or even what the design team as a whole, like what we're trying to do, because it's really important to show people what you're doing to get buy-off. It inspires people to have other ideas that can feed back into it, and art loves to see like, oh, this is kind of what you mean. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm doing everything that I typically have done as a designer in roles in the past, but I don't have to do final implementation anymore. Thank God. That is not my strong suit, honestly. Yeah, much more smarter engineers than I have that have spent a lot more time in the Astroneer code base to know how to make things. Right. So, yeah, no, that I've kind of, after the onboarding and now, really, it's been a full month, basically, mm-hmm. I've been there, and I finally really feeling like, okay, I understand the groove of the company, where I fit in it, what I need to be doing, what other people are doing. It took about a month, really.
Right.
For everything to finally click into place and be like, okay, I got this.
Right. Is there any, I don't think this is probably something you need. Maybe, I don't know, depending on the technology, but ongoing training for like new systems or systems that you're familiar with, but not as familiar with as you should be?
Not anything specific. As through the onboarding and talking, if there's anything I need to take a class on or want to learn on, just present it to my boss, and they have budget for any kind of ongoing education for people that want it. So
okay, yeah, that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah, so it's there. Currently, I haven't seen anything I'd specifically need, but I'm sure it will come up. They're sending a chunk of people down to GDC. I did not ask to go. I felt like I just started and I don't need to go to GDC again right now.
Right.
But but there's a number of people going, and they're expected when you go, so they don't send the whole studio, but they do a process of saying, hey, if you want to go, you apply to the upper management, basically. You say why you want to go, what you would want to go through the schedule of GDC and say, these are the talks that I want to go to and why these are important to me.
Right.
And if they choose you, cool. But if they choose you and you go and they pay for you to go and the whole thing, you're expected to give a talk to the company when you're back.
Yeah, that's good. We do that too.
About like what you saw.
So you have to come back.
Yeah. And I think it's a good, I did that at PopCap my last year that I went to GDC. At PopCap, I had to talk about what I saw there. So
well, it's a smart way to do that because you're spending the money they're spending the money to send you. It shouldn't just be knowledge that dies with you. It should be disseminated out.
Yeah. So,
although I guess aren't all the GDC conferences like taped anyways?
They are, but they don't usually show up for quite a while.
Okay.
Like some are more immediate, and then there's a bunch that are trickled out over the next like year to 2 years. Right. So. Yeah, I mean, that's most of my onboarding experience so far. It's been good. It's probably pretty light compared to things in a much more corporate environment. I don't even have a clue what your onboarding experience would be like at a school.
Well, I mean, because we come in with I guess it's the same, it's not any different than yours, but such a specific skill set that's been like tested. Like you come in assuming that you can do the fucking job. Yeah. And it's just the wrapper around it. Like, here are the department guidelines. Here's who you go to for copies. Here's how you interface with the dean or the department chair. And then there's just the evaluation process during the first 4 years where like you're being shepherded through by a team who's watching your classes, running student evaluations, and then building up your, reflective, you're building up your skill level based on reflections on that whole process. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's similar to this. It's like, yep, you have, who you need to talk to about certain things. In the role I'm at, I have a boss, so I talk to him about what any problems I might have or questions I have about like, where do I find this? What do I need this? Like, what's the history on this thing? Because there's a lot of that. There's a lot of tribal knowledge in game companies. Like, huge amounts of tribal knowledge. And so I found that it's always useful just to, when you come across something, you're like, this seems like it's a proposal that's been around for years at this point. Mm-hmm. Should just talk to someone about like, hey, can someone tell me the history of this? Like, you never know what will be a minefield that you do not want to walk on. So
yeah, exactly. Running some, in our school, like running some program, like, this is such a great idea, let's do it. And without doing that due diligence, you just run into the same roadblocks everyone else ran into. And they're like, if you just asked me, I could have told you some of these things you would have faced. So
yeah, it's a lot of time talking. I feel like that's a lot of the onboarding with these companies has been just like, you just got to talk to a lot of people. If you're not going to talk to your colleagues and your boss about things, you're going to be in for a hard time.
You're fucked.
You're pretty much fucked.
Yeah, we really are.
You're just going to get alienated more than anything. Right. So yeah, that's what it is. I will say that after like that 1 week, and I think I've been there 5 weeks now, I can't believe how lucky I've got. This company is amazing. It's been a long time since I felt really this good at a place. It's a really good team, and just the culture. It's just a great fit for me and where I'm at, and I feel like I can just do good things here.
Sounds like a good fit for your family too, where you can go and then come back.
Yep.
I don't think you're really taking that home with you.
No, and they do not want you to take your work home. Like, that's awesome. I think anyone there would be like, okay, if you're extendedly stressing about things or going home and really only thinking about work when you're home, that's a problem. We should figure out how to fix that. Like I said, I highly recommend anyone who's listening to this go look for the System Era No Clip. I don't want to get into all the history of it, and I won't talk about it here. That No Clip does a great job talking about some of the trials of this company and why its culture is the way it is and why it's probably so much better than a lot of other companies in that regard.
Because of the things they've gone through, basically.
Yeah.
Cool.
Have made them really evaluate the type of culture that they want and the type of company they want to be. So, I highly recommend that. And it's a no-clip documentary, so they're pretty good all the time.
They're always good.
Yeah.
That's good content.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's basically what it's been like for me. Trying to think of other onboarding experiences that I've heard other people have. A friend of mine who started at Bungie many years ago, who's still there, basically said, like, for the first week, they have scheduled lunches for new employees with a rotating cast of people to go have lunch with.
Just to get to know people on a professional level, personal level, or both, maybe?
Both.
Yeah. That's good.
But it's at least for the first week, maybe 2, because Bungie is a big company at this point. But they're just like, you need to go have lunch and meet people. Here you go.
It's alienating. Plus, also, I hate to say, I don't want to stereotype, but I feel like sometimes the kind of work that you're doing, you're just like heads down at your desk, and you're not really like interacting with people too much. So, like, to force you to do that to get to know people, it's probably a really good first step.
It is. There's a lot of stuff with the HR onboarding stuff that comes from other companies that I know people roll their eyes at, but it does work overall. Yeah. Like, there's good ideas here. Not all of it, but there are some things that are like, no, here's a good way to make a person feel like they're actually, like, comfortable in their new position and can contribute. So, it's really important to emphasize those. And not just drop someone in and be like, here, have fun. Figure it out.
You can swim. Oh, man, that's awful.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, that's been my experience so far.
Cool.
Yeah.
Other than Astroneer, what have you been playing this week?
Played a bit more Mass Effect 2, finally. Did some I settings tweaking, getting more running, and I'm working my way through Omega now. I'm going to get Morden right now, and then Archangel. So, not a ton, but I was playing
Archangel.
all that, like, the Omega stuff is reminding me of just how good that is as like, you do, I wouldn't say the openings. The opening is like, you die, and then you're resurrected, and you do the little mission after being resurrected. And then you meet Tali again on a brief thing and come back. But then they do, okay, here's the Normandy SR2, go to Omega. There's a bunch to do in Omega as like your first main quest hub. Mm-hmm. And you just spend time running around the Omega station doing all sorts of things. And it's such a good introduction to the game and to kind of like the tone of this one compared to the first one. Just like, oh, we're on the outskirts of civilization. Things are a little bit more rough here and more gangs and mercenaries, and it's just a bit darker than the first game. And you're just in the thick of it. And so, yeah, it's really good. And I must say, with all the like graphic mods that I put on this thing, it's gorgeous.
Oh,
holy
man,
crap. It looks so good.
That's so cool.
You're just like, yeah, I mean, there are games in 2020 that look better than it, of course, but you're like, oh, this didn't come out 10 years ago, right? This came out a few years ago, maybe. But yeah, it's really good, and it just reminds me how good the writing is in that game. Just such good, punctual character writing. And it doesn't linger. That's what I'm noticing a lot. Like, they're really good about making the, like, dialogue quick, snappy, tells you what it needs to tell you, and then you're out and doing other things.
Yeah, and they're so good at, like, those, like, there's the main plot, but then there's just, like, so many, like, intimate character moments that just make that story sing. And
they really do. So yeah, I've really been enjoying that. I finished my unlocks on the PC Game Pass version of Slay the Spire, of the new character, so I did that. And then I was like, I'm going to play something else, just a new thing, PC Game Pass, which was Children of Morta.
Children of Morta?
It's like a pixel-based roguelite kind of action RPG-ish thing.
Okay.
It's good. The quality is good. I was kind of annoyed up front because I'm like, the time to actually like play game is way too high. I had to listen to tons of bullshit before I could actually play the game. I was like, shut up. I don't care. I don't care about your bullshit lore. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I am not invested enough yet to care. But I finally got through that, and it's It's pretty. It's really pretty pixel art. It's a bit more... It's not like Diablo action RPG. It's a bit more thoughtful combat action RPG. And you will die, and it's a roguelite, so you spawn again.
Right.
I mean, it's decent, it's good, but it's hard to be like, well, that's cool, you're good, but there's a lot of great games out.
Yeah.
So it's hard to just be good.
Yeah, this thing is so hard now. Like in any media, like if you're okay, there's so much stuff that's amazing. Then we have our time hasn't increased. We all still need to sleep.
Yeah. So I don't think I'll play. I played about an hour of it, and I was like, okay, this is cool. I understand what you're doing. Upgrade systems and skill trees, and like you can take different characters on each run, and you have some persistence from certain things you pick up. I was like, cool. There's dodging and blocking. It felt like the combat-wise was cool, but in some ways reminded me of Hyper Light Drifter, but Hyper Light Drifter did their combat better. And faster. So I don't know. I mean, it's not like I'm unhappy with it. It was free on the Game Pass, so I gave it a shot. But it's not something I'll go back to. I'm like, okay, that's enough. Like, it's not wowing me in this type of game. So
it is the nice thing about Game Pass, where you can just check it out and move on.
Yeah. I was super sad that there was a Phantasy Star Online 2 beta this weekend.
Oh, there was? I didn't know there was a beta.
And it's only if you had an Xbox One.
I
was able to sign up on the PC,
yeah.
But you can only play it on an Xbox One.
Oh, sorry, man.
I was like, damn it! I don't want an Xbox One to play this. But
you run out to buy one just to
play the beta. No. And this is only this closed beta weekend, and there'll be an open beta, which I think will be PC and Xbox One, because the game is coming out for both, or maybe other platforms too in the West. I don't know. I don't remember all the platforms it's coming out to in the West, because it's on like every platform in the East.
Of course.
So, but I'm like, I really want to try Phantasy Star Online too, because I've heard about it for so long. This weird game that's never come to the US. So, right. But yeah, that happened, and I couldn't do it. So,
oh, I'm sorry.
Sigh. Sad. But no, I played a little bit this week. Not nearly as much. I was watching Lock and Key.
Oh yeah, how was that adaptation? Have you read the books?
Nope.
Okay.
So I don't know how it is as an adaptation. It's weird as fuck, though.
Well, the comics are too, man. Dude, they're fucking weird.
I know. And I know it's Joe Hill is the writer on it. So that's Stephen King's son, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Sure, I was getting all my connections correct there.
You got it.
So yeah, it's weird. And it's definitely horror in there. Not a ton. Like, I wouldn't call it, like, huge horror, but it's got some horror going on. Undertones throughout the story and everything. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's like the comics at all. But
comics, I mean, they're great. I love them, but I'm worried how it translates to the screen, because it's weird. But then also, like, some of the things it don't seem like they would really be able to be shown on TV in a coherent way. But I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. It's generally coherent so far. I watched 3 episodes.
That's good. Is it 10 episode season?
I think so. I didn't check how many it total was, but it seems like it's a good quality. It's weird. It's like it's not as good as The Witcher for me. I will say that. Like The Witcher was pretty exceptional. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh man, I just finished The Last Wish, by the way, today. Right as I was cooking dinner. Like, I read it in 2015, right after I played The Witcher 3. And then rereading it now after having spent a lot more time with The Witcher, and then watched most of this season on Netflix. It's so fucking good, man. It's so good. It's stupid.
What episode are you on?
I think I'm right before... How many are there? 8?
8.
I've watched 5.
So you watched the one that is The Last Wish?
Yes,
right?
I have.
That's the one I said, don't watch this in the public.
Yeah, no, I definitely did not.
Make sure that your screen is not publicly viewable during that episode. Yeah, so 6, 7, and 8 are pretty... I'm pretty sure 7 and 8 are very... They come from a different book, I'm almost certain.
Well, they come from Sword of Destiny, which is the second short story collection.
Yeah, they start combining things, and then 6 is from the Last Wish, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember. It's the Gold Dragon story.
I don't think that's Last Wish.
Oh, that must have been print. The next one, then.
Yeah, Sword of Destiny. No, there's no Gold Dragon in
it's like the lore about gold dragons and stuff.
Nope.
So, yeah. Well, cool. Then you get to watch some new stories, and they're really good. Those episodes are really, really good.
They did it. They did it, man. I didn't think... I was worried about Henry Cavill, but...
No, not at all. Did you see his react? Because I see it go around as a meme now, and they were like asking him. They're like, so maybe I even told you this before. And they asked the guy interviewers like, so Witcher 3 would you play it on PS4 or Xbox? And he's like, PC.
Yeah,
it's just like, like
what the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, this is amazing.
That's so cool.
It's like, God.
I played it.
Noob.
I played it on fucking Xbox. I played it on PS4. I played it on fucking PC. The three main game Xbox, then the first expansion PS4, second expansion PC.
I played it all on PC. I have it for the PS4 now, though. The Game of the Year edition. Yeah. And I've never actually. It went on sale for like $15, and I was like, sure, I'll get it on the. But I'm like, should I play it on PS4? It's a lot of game, though. It's a lot of game. That's what's the only thing that holds me back from playing that game is this. I start thinking about just how enormous it is, and being like, "That's a lot. I don't think I can do it."
150 hours, man. I know I'm going to replay it again one day.
One day.
One day. It's too good not to. And there's so much stuff I still didn't do. Like there were side quests that I didn't complete it. Like
I'm sure. Neither did I. There's a bunch of hunts that I didn't do.
Yeah. I didn't get most of like the Viper School and the Cat School or whatever, all the different gear.
I got one. I can't remember which one it was. Because I just looked at what all the different stats were. Like, I went for the one that was really helped with my play style. I just can't remember which one that was. I don't know. But I definitely just went and found the pieces for that specific school and didn't really branch out after that. God, good game.
Good stories. I'm looking forward to getting to the novels.
Yeah.
From him and seeing how that builds out over, because the short stories are just like diving in and out of different characters and such. So
yeah.
But man, you should Last Wish is great. Yeah, I think you get a lot of it.
Oh no, I've read The Last Wish.
Oh, you've already had the whole book.
Quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Like you, I probably need to. I should give it a read/listen again. Because it's been so long, and it was out of a lot of context, really. Like, it was just like, I'm just reading the book.
It's really helped me having watched, like, a lot of the episodes that were in The Last Wish. Like, okay, now I'm really able to visualize what's happening here.
Nice. Okay.
So, good stuff. And they're fucking really, really faithful to the book.
Yeah, I've heard, from watching it, I remember, I'm like, they of course change things here and there, but they stay way truer than I thought they would for a lot of the stories.
Well, it's maybe somewhat easy, because as I was listening, I mean, not easy, what the fuck do I know, but listening to it, like 70% of the whole book is dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, it really is.
It's a lot of talking.
A lot of it's just like pulled over into the show,
Yeah. So, that's been a lot of my week.
Awesome. Well, for me, it's just a lot of reading. Like I said off mic to you, I've played 12 minutes of games this week, and that's because my daughter wanted to play Yoshi and Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. So that's what I did. And then it was dinner time, and we had to turn it off. So we never got back to it. She loves that Yoshi game, Crafted World. It's pretty awesome.
That's great.
Yep, and it's cool with the Switch too, because I can just pull off the Joy-Con and then she can hold the screen, and then I can play. But unfortunately, she moves the damn screen, so I'm kind of like trying to like bob and weave, trying to watch where Yoshi's going as she's holding it. But she does like the same levels over and over and over again. So
okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
My family is all in on Stardew Valley right now. Still, like, between my son and my wife, holy crap, that Switch is getting a workout.
Your wife's just like, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, pretty much. She's like, yep, this Switch is mine now. Enjoy. Yeah, she's put a ton of time into Stardew Valley. I'm pretty amazed. But it fits perfectly. Yeah, beyond anything like this, playing some, I've just been bouncing between games mostly this week. Like, I can't settle into anything, it feels like. I just haven't found something to really sink my teeth into. But I probably won't, honestly, for another month-ish or so.
You're waiting for Final Fantasy VII?
Final Fantasy VII, Animal Crossing, and Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, yeah, right.
Are the two. I mean, Animal Crossing is mid-March, and then April 10th is Final Fantasy VII. I think that's kind of where I'm at the moment. So it's just kind of trying to bide my time until then and not just dump a bunch of money trying to find games to play. Just play backlog games, play stuff on Game Pass.
Game Pass especially, man. What a great deal.
It is a great deal. And there's just new stuff on there all the time.
They figured it out, man. Someone else has got to match them because they've got an idea that's really good.
They do. I'm very, very, very curious how this all flows together once the next Xbox comes out, whatever it's going to be called.
I think Stadia's got to go that direction, otherwise...
They have to, right?
Well, what they have, you know?
Well, they have to if they want it to be, I think, actually be successful.
Yes, I think so too.
Does that mean they will?
I think it means they won't.
Oh yeah, Wolfenstein Youngblood showed up on there.
On Stadia or on
Game Pass?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I should play that.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's a lot of just cool stuff on here. A Plague Tale: Innocence. I've heard really good things about that. Showed up there. Yeah, Wolfenstein Youngblood. Final Fantasy 15. Windows Edition is there now.
Oh, it's the Windows Edition.
Yeah.
Man, my cousin was looking for a game. You know, he was so into Final Fantasy 11. I was like, well, maybe you shouldn't get back into an MMO, dude, but maybe try 15 because it's like you're, with a group, quote unquote, so it kind of feels like you're with people. He played. He's like, I fucking cannot stand those people. Like, all right.
Oh yeah.
It's an acquired taste, I guess. First Final Fantasy I ever beat, weirdly enough. Actually, only.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, is Outer Wilds still on there?
Yeah. Yeah,
Not
it's still
Outer
there.
Worlds, Outer Wilds.
Oh, right. Fuck. Outer Wilds is only available on the Xbox One.
Oh, man.
It's not on the PC Game Pass.
Okay. That's one you should check out for sure.
I know, I've been waiting to, because it's here. Is it on... Where's it coming to? Outer Wilds. Where are you going? What's it getting released on? And so, Xbox One, it was on Windows, but not on the Game Pass. It made it to PS4 in October. I feel like it's coming out on one, is it on... Oh, it's on Epic Games.
Oh, the exclusivity thing.
Yeah, that's where it is on PC.
Right.
Yep, that's exactly where it's at. I've heard really good things about it, though.
Yeah.
Really good.
I played 3 or 4 hours of it, kind of digging around at the beginning. Other than landing the spaceship and moving the spaceship around, which was fucking frustrating, it felt like it played really well. But then apparently the ending is just like, fucking stay here for that.
Okay.
So I'm hoping to get back to it one day. Of course, with 15 minutes so fucking weak to play a game.
Yeah.
We'll see how that happens. This fucking semester is just brutal.
Well, at least the semester will end at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe. Never.
It will.
Never
yes,
again.
It will. Unless, we'll see what happens, but yes, it should.
Yeah, so, well.
That was 229, Prof and Dev Play Games. Please rate us on your podcast service of choice. Check us on Patreon, Prof and Dev Play Games. Something just banged behind me. Hopefully it's not a ghost. If I don't make it back next week, then you'll know that I died to a ghost. If you have any complaints about the show, please hit us up at SummerSpeak on Twitter, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Later, everyone.